Hey guys, we're Asians Down Under, and today we're going to be checking out a clip from an Australian dating show called Take Me Out. A Filipino Aussie, George, went on the show and he actually got rejected by 2 girls for simply being Asian. This has actually kicked up a lot of fuss in Australia and it's gone viral, so we're going to check it out and see what it's about.
Okay.
What's wrong with the Asians?
Exactly.
We're all Asians.
Yeah.
You know what to do, ladies. Are you turned on or are you turned off?
Oh, that was quite a few lights.
Results: 6 lights off, 24 lights left on. How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you never know with these things. You never know with these ladies.
What's wrong with him? He looks tall.
He's handsome, right?
He's tan.
Yeah, it looks
He's fit.
Gianna, what's this light about?
Ain't nothing wrong with
We
that.
have a no dating Asian sort of policy. You kind of look a bit like a brother.
What?
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 You look like a brother.
Like a brother.
They look
They
nothing
don't look
alike.
like each other.
Don't flatter
She's
yourself.
tripping, man. Don't make sense.
City charter here. Cherie,
She's tripping, man.
explain this red light.
I'm sorry, I have a no dating Asian policy.
That's really unoriginal.
Really?
Like brother and sister, if it gets awkward.
Really? It doesn't work like that. Come on.
What is it?
She should rephrase that. What do you mean you're Asian? You can talk about it. Nah, I'm gonna go for this one. I'm sorry.
Alright.
Alright, so George, so after the show ended, he's made his own video and his own take on what happened and his explanation. If you guys are interested in his opinion as well, please check out his video. We'll have it in the link below. So yeah, guys, what do you guys think? So the whole Asian girls no dating Asian policy, I guess.
For me personally, it sounds like 100% internalized racism. Maybe those 2 girls are a lovely person in the real life, but I'm just saying in terms of what they were saying, you can easily take it to a really negative way and you can take it as like offensive comments as Asians.
You can find what they said like pretty offensive, but at the same time, it's like it's fair enough. They have their preferences.
Yeah.
To me, it's like everyone has their own preference. It's like whatever, they can do what they want. You should require more than just being Asian as your reason for not being into someone. Like their personality, maybe their like physical looks.
Yeah.
Like. Not their race, like stuff based on personality and other things, ambition, drive, passion.
So why did this go viral, you reckon?
No, I reckon because they turned the lights off on the very first run. Like George just come up, be all charming, confident. You don't see anything wrong with this guy. Like appearance-wise, he is a good-looking Asian. Like come on, he's tall, he's tan. I don't know, like. And then the girl just turned the lights off and say, and the reason is like you look like my brother. Well, they don't look like each other at all.
At all, yeah.
And they don't look like have like same nationality. Like to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. Can I just say, like while I don't hold the same views as these girls, I can actually empathize with them. I think that their reasons for that may, come from experiences in the past. So for me, being Asian and like having been born here in Australia and growing up in Australia, I've actually had experiences where with an ex-partner I've had someone say to me, oh how cute you guys look like brother and sister. So I've actually had people say that to me before and I can see where that reason has come from.
But is that enough for you to deter?
I don't think that's a bad thing though.
It's not a bad thing.
So I can empathize with it, but I don't think that it's enough to judge someone based on their race because that is racism by definition.
But what they said is racism, like hands down.
Yes.
I reckon.
What they're saying is like you look like my brother. It's pretty much saying Asians all look the same. And that kind of racism, it's from somewhere else outside Asian race. It could be white, it could be black, it could be someone else, different race from Asian says, you know what, all Asian looks like brothers, sisters and cousins.
Well, you could
say that too.
like a Caucasian couple, like why don't you say that they look like
exactly. No, but if you are as an Asian think I am Asian, it's okay for me to say that. Obviously, people outside your race, it's gonna be disrespectful and make that kind of jokes all the time.
Imagine if I made a comment about like 2 white people dating. It's like, oh, you shouldn't date in your own race because you guys look like brothers. Like if you say it about another race, that's where you can see how offensive it is. But if you say it about your own race, it's like, oh, it's, whatever. Some people might just be like, oh, it's fair enough. But I just think it's very hypocritical and judgmental.
Yeah.
Because like, if you're thinking someone's undateable just because of their race, you haven't explored anything else under that.
Yeah.
It just shows
Yeah.
that they're closed-minded. Or,
Yeah.
A bit shallow.
Or maybe they had an experience like Diane said, and they can't
Yeah.
take it anymore. You know?
Yeah.
They just want society to accept them.
Yeah.
But I actually have some friends, they are brother and sister. When they grow up, people
Thought they were a couple.
Yeah, oh, you guys look cute together. Like
Yeah.
you look like a couple.
But they were brothers and sisters. Yeah, so different two perspectives.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they only experienced the one perspective.
Yeah.
They haven't seen the other one.
Think about it this way: if say he was half Asian, right, and he didn't look Asian, he looked more on his white side or black side. He had Caucasian dad, Filipino mom. And then he was more on the Caucasian side.
Yeah.
Like had
So it looked
Caucasian skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
White
would she
features.
still say the same thing?
She probably-
like if he didn't have any Asian traits at all, but had it in his blood, like
Oh, who knows?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Depends
But
on what
having
reason.
said that, I think they're allowed to have their preferences.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the wrong thing is that they actually said it on like national television.
TV.
And we're at an age where we're trying, you know, like to show more ethnic minorities, like in media, in movies,
Yeah.
and TV shows.
Yeah.
And you know, we're trying to show different types of Asians, but for them to say something so stereotyped,
It's a step back, isn't
it
it?
is. Yeah, it's a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine any teenager Asians children is gonna watch this.
Yeah.
And they would say, "What's going on with the Asian men?
Yeah, so-
Why
What's
we
wrong
are
with- what's
undateable?"
wrong with Asian
Like,
men?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
wrong with all
Asians don't
Asian
want-
girls?
And I guess, you know, a part of the controversy is just that part, you know, where I guess Western culture, you know, how they portray Asian men. Maybe that's how,
Yeah.
I don't know, like somehow it influenced them. I don't know. But
Yeah.
in saying that,
Yeah.
you guys mentioned kids watching.
Exactly.
Imagine what went through. So I'll tell you guys a story about my sister. So I don't know if she remembers, but when she was really young,
Yeah.
I still remember her saying, "Why am I Asian? I don't want to be Asian. I want to be white." She said that when she was like, what, 3 or 4? Well, no,
Yeah.
like 6. Yeah. She said that to me. That broke my
happened to
heart.
her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was watching all the Disney princesses, all the
those
white
kind of
Disney
Asians,
channels.
yeah.
It's all white, blonde hair, those kind of
Yeah.
girls. And
But
then-
they try to add more diversity.
Oh,
nowadays.
well,
nowadays,
no,
yeah.
but she was young. Like,
Yeah.
that's all she watched. And
Yeah.
then, maybe at school something happened. So, she came home
Yeah.
one day,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sad, and told me that.
Yeah.
It just shows that,
Yeah.
because we're growing up
yeah.
in a Western culture, on TV, and you know how kids learn from observational learning.
Exactly.
They see their role models on TV, and then, sister, was just ashamed to be Asian back then.
Yeah, I definitely felt like that as well.
Yeah.
Like when I was in primary school, I was always teased for my eyes. Like I was like told I had slanty eyes, and it was something that I always felt really self-conscious about. Because like all the women, all the beautiful women that you see on TV, they're blonde, they've got big blue eyes, and they're beautiful. But then like I'm like, why do I have these like small Asian eyes? So like there was a time where I felt like, why am I Asian, or why do I look like this?
Yeah.
Similar to my sister. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. So I think it is something that we do experience as Asians growing up in a Western society.
So, but by saying those two girls made the wrong comments, we are not tackling like characters. I'm just saying because I know a lot of people try to find their Instagram and leave a hateful
really?
comments,
Yeah, no.
shaming their shape, their appearance. I just
Yeah,
want to
none
say
of that.
doesn't matter what they look like. If what they say is wrong, it's wrong. Like if they are not very attractive doesn't make what they say like even worse. If they are beautiful, doesn't make what they say right.
Yeah.
So stop like cyberbully them.
Yeah,
This is not our point. This is not individual case.
That's right.
it's
That happens to a lot of Asians.
That's a given.
yeah.
I just think, man, everyone should just be open to all races.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's cool, then they're cool. If they're attractive in their eyes, then
Exactly.
they're attractive.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like being an Australian, that means you're gonna expose yourself to a diversity. I have no issue if someone is gonna date people with a different nationality or different ethical backgrounds. It could be just happen to be, but I guess if you exclude the entire race, and
I just
that
think it's-
could be some underlying issues going
Yeah,
on with
I
that.
just think it's kind of shallow, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
But-
why not give it someone a chance?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure all of us would be open to dating white, black, or
Yeah.
Caucasian, black.
I've seen
Any color of the
really
skin,
attractive
any
black
color
girls.
of the skin, any background.
Yeah.
I've seen really attractive
I'd be
black
open to
girls.
dating them if they're just your type.
Yeah.
if they're a cool
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Yeah. On the flip side, there's a lot more at the same time, I feel like a lot of Chinese or a lot of Asian cultures are the opposite. Like parents only want their their children to date other Chinese people, for example.
Yeah.
It's like, no, don't date like Cambodian.
No, that's
date
all right.
Chinese.
No, but that could
There's
be
like a reverse thing
different
too, like,
reason.
it
It could be just a language reason. You have to
True,
be
true,
able
true.
to communicate with
And
That's-
understanding the culture.
Yeah.
understand the
culture,
cultures.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nah, everyone's just racist.
Yeah, but this
To
was
some
just
degree.
really funny.
Yeah. It's just funny on TV, that's all.
Yeah.
But it's interesting some of you bring up your personal experience, like what could cause
What
this
could
kind
cause?
of like internal hate.
Not hate.
Not it's like you
Okay.
feel
I think it's more just embarrassed, maybe.
you not feel
Well, my-
confident
no,
to
that-
be
that-
an Asian.
No, that was my sister. So my sister felt that. I felt terrible for her. So for me, you know, I've embraced both sides. I embrace my Asian side with my parents, with their culture, and I see the Aussie side as well. So it's like, yeah, I can see things from both perspective, and I don't have an issue with what she said. Maybe she had bad experience dating a certain whatever, and she's looking to explore, you know, maybe she's only dated Asians in the past, and
Yeah, no,
on the show
she's
she
alright,
just wants to explore,
Yeah.
like, you know, so yeah, it's fair enough, but the way she said it is just not, not bright.
not the best.
Yeah.
But we never know what kind of experience they had when they were young. Cause a couple months ago there was an article went viral.
What article is it? This one?
Yeah, it's from it's a Twitter Twitter post from Kimberly Yang.
Okay, so read it out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Alright.
so one of
Yeah.
her tweets, Kimberly Yan, she says, "You're 8 years old, your third grade class orders Chinese food and your father delivers it. You are so excited to see your pops in school, he's your hero. But apparently other kids don't think he's so cool. They laugh at him and mimic his accent. You don't think you want to be Chinese anymore. Or you don't want to be Chinese anymore."
Yeah, damn. What else is there?
That's like what my sister
my
and
sister.
what
Yeah.
you went
Yeah.
through as well.
So her next tweet is, "You're 9 years old, you attend ballet camp. Someone tells you that another girl hates you. She thinks your eyes are an ugly shape. You don't have the vocabulary to describe why that's hurtful, but now you hate your distinctly Asian face. You don't want to be Chinese anymore."
That sounds exactly what you
Just putting it out there, I'm fine now. I'm very happy with how I look now. This was just 8-year-old me.
Alright.
Yeah, and
another
the
one.
last tweet, "You're 16 years old, it's Halloween and 2 students come to class dressed as Asian tourists. They've taped their eyes back,
Oh, whoa.
strapped cameras around their necks and chucked up peace signs. You feel uncomfortable. When a teacher asks if you find the costumes offensive, you say no. That is offensive.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's next level.
As 16-year-olds, that's unacceptable.
But then towards the end, she say, or when she reached a certain age and she embraced her culture and
exactly.
she tattooed her surname on her
Yeah.
waist because like
Once-
she feel proud of
yeah.
who she is.
You know, once you embrace both sides, it's like, you know, you're confident. You know?
Yeah.
You don't care, or not that you don't care, it's just, you know, you feel like you can just get through everything
Yeah.
that's thrown at you. I guess to the more sensitive people, you know, if someone were to say something like that on the show, and if they find it offensive, it's like, well, this is Western culture, you're on Western TV, you know, it's just how it is for generations. Society doesn't change in 10 years, they change in like centuries.
Yeah, but if you want to make a change, someone has to come out and say, listen,
And-
it's not acceptable.
Yeah, agreed. So they have to
Yeah.
bring it out, which is what George did in his video and what we're trying to do
Yeah.
as well. So
I think they do deserve certain level of backlash.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think the problem is like it's age. So when you're young and when you're a child, you're very easily influenced.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
by the messages
exactly.
that are being sent.
Yeah.
You know, messages that are being portrayed, and you really just want to fit in. You just want to be like everyone else. But it's only when you're older that you realize, you know, you've just got so much history and so much culture and it's so rich. And like once you accept that and once you embrace that, you know, you really understand yourself and you're more confident in who you are and you know what you have to bring to this world. So you know, like it shouldn't be something, you know, to be ashamed of. And I think we should all be trying to send these messages out to, you know, younger kids of like ethnic minorities, you know, that it's okay that there are people like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start crying.
With these things, I was gonna say like whatever's said on that show, like for me, the reason why I didn't take offense is because I take whatever's said on that show with a grain of salt.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it's mental entertainment. You know?
I just personally think people should just be open.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah. Remember what your brother said? Yeah, he wanted to date a black chick. Yeah. I wouldn't mind. I've found black girls attractive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I've dated
If
guys
they can speak Chinese, then
can talk to your parents.
talk to my
Or willing to learn Chinese.
or willing to learn.
Yep.
Take 10 years. But
Yeah.
You mean Cantonese?
yeah.
you don't even speak Mandarin, you say.
What did you guys think when the second girl said, "But it's because I'm Asian, I can say this"?
That's like being black and being able to say the N-word, right?
No, it's different.
but-
I think it's just different forms of internalized racism. You find an excuse, say, I am Asian, I can say that.
You can be racist to your own race.
Yeah, you
But that's
can be
disrespecting yourself.
Yeah.
It just tells me you're
I
stupid.
don't think. Yeah. I don't think that's. I
all
don't
it
think that's
tells me.
fair because, like, she may not have been Filipino. Like,
So?
not all Asians are the same.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's saying that I'm Asian, I'm the same. I think that's what she was trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm the same as him. I know what he'd be like because I'm also Asian.
But
It's
she
like,
didn't-
no, because he's
I like-
Filipino
yeah.
and you're probably a different type
Yeah.
of Asian. You're not
Yeah.
the same. Like you don't know.
No, but she said, wait, what do we...
No, she said I'm Asian, so I'm allowed to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not all Asians are the same. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and they totally don't
They
look
don't
like
look the
each
same.
other.
Yeah.
They look like they have like different, ethical backgrounds.
Yeah.
I read articles, I find their surnames,
But do
so I
you-
know they are completely different.
Oh, okay.
like,
But do you think
background.
that's okay to say? So if you're Asian, and
No.
do you think it's okay to say?
No.
To say
I've
that?
said it before.
Yeah.
I've actually said it before, but only as a joke.
Yeah, as a joke.
I make jokes about myself and I'll say, oh yeah, it's because I'm Asian, I can say that.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't say that to someone else though. Like
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
say-
say I don't date Asians and I can say that because I'm Asian.
Yeah.
Like, I think the context of that is completely wrong.
Yeah.
But I think if it's in a context of you and your friend having a joke, like,
Yeah,
I think that's
fine.
okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
But this is on national TV.
I don't think there's any like morally correct justification for judging someone based on their race.
No.
Yes,
no, there
never.
isn't. Like
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
not okay. Yeah.
No matter what. Like,
Yeah, no matter what.
So, is it true Asian man is underrated in terms of dating preference in Australia? Why is that? So, I think we covered that. We mentioned how we're in a westernized society. On TV, on magazines, on everything, you see Caucasian Australians, and you barely see any Asian models in the front page of magazine. It's on TV. Kids watch TV and they see like this bulky white Caucasian strong man being idolized there in Hollywood movies as well.
Yeah.
Only recently did they make one Asian movie, which was Crazy Rich Asians, right? Recent, very recent.
Yeah.
But in the history, it's all been dominated by Caucasian white. Yeah, so maybe that's why. So those girls growing up.
Also, like whenever you do see a male Asian, like on a TV show, he's always like the
portrayed as
skinny,
nerdy.
weak. He's like the nerd.
Every race has that kind of person. Yeah.
Stereotype.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that stereotype.
yeah.
Sorry.
So
yeah.
there's been too many stereotypes, and I think it's influenced our views of
Yeah.
Asian guys.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like it's our job to show you guys. It's that's
Kurt,
not
go on the
okay.
show. Go on the show. Wait.
Kurt,
Go on the show.
go on, Sean.
Yeah.
I think it's, to be honest though, I think a lot of stuff with what you guys said, it only affects a pretty small amount
Yeah.
of Asian women or just women in general when it comes to dating Asian men. With the internet nowadays, Netflix, YouTube, there's so much exposure to just Asians and all the other races now. It's kind of like, it's not that bad.
In Western
Australia.
culture, I think they are underrated.
Yeah, in
think
Western
they are.
culture.
Yeah.
Compared to Asian girls, Asian guys, it's definitely
Underrated.
underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, like compared to what's being portrayed in media.
Yeah, I think it's
there's a lot of very attractive Asian guys out there, but they're just not seen, and so like people don't associate that with Asian guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. So if you stayed with us for this long, thank you. So our concluding statements, I guess maybe just one sentence each. So Kirk, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so basically, at the end of the day, I think people should just be open to every single background, culture, and you should really take some time to be proud of your own culture, whether you're Asian or Caucasian or anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I've said all I had to say.
Yeah, Rach.
I think be an Australian, that means you need to embrace the diversity all the time and be confident with who you are and where you are from. You don't need to feel ashamed of anything.
Yeah, so for me, I mentioned this earlier, you know, embrace both sides. So if you feel uncomfortable being Asian in a Western society, you know, just embrace both sides. You know, once you read the history, like Diane said, once you realize how big, you know, your background is, and you know, you're able to assimilate into Western society as well, be proud, be confident, because you can easily go from either side. And it's a good feeling. Like there's no need to be ashamed.
And it's what makes you you, and it's what makes you unique, and it gives you that, you know, unique brand that you can bring to this world. So just be proud of it.
The world is bigger than just you know, than one country. The world is huge.
That's right.
All right.
Peace. Bye.
See you guys.
So when are you gonna start learning Mandarin?
Yeah.
That's
Zach, it's too late for me.
You are saying
do you still have time for the other video?
It's 10.
So is this true? Asian man is underrated in terms.
Stop bringing your random stuff.
Wait, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're off track with this whole video.
Off track was Rachel brought up her.
Rachel, you're
both
talking
topics
too much.
she brought up.
Rachel, you're bringing up too much. If you're gonna bring up something, just keep it simple.
It took forever to get to that point.
All right,
and then when you got to that point, it wasn't even relatable.
language barrier.
Oh, hey guys. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment for us down below. We do other videos, so check them out here, or here. Yeah, check them out.